So we had this idea, it really came because so many organizations and so many people were working on these really grand transformational projects all along the river, but there wasn't one visual or one asset that could really show what it's all going to look like when it's all said and done.
When Experience came to us, our internal creative team kind of met and went back and forth with each other and came up with a bunch of different concepts for this project and kind of how we should tackle it.
With this piece, we wanted to come up with something kind of special for these new developments, how to show them in a way that's both visually interesting, shows them in proximity to each other, and also in a really unique and fun way.
They pitched us a few different ways of going about doing it. We landed on one that essentially was ideology creating all of Grand Rapids in CGI.
The style is definitely different than our previous projects with them. We've dabbled in animation through a lot of their projects, but nothing to the extent of this animation and the CGI.
It started off kind of all hands on deck, it felt like. We were trying to figure out what the workflow would be because it was such a large project. It took us a little bit of time to come up with the system and how we were doing things.
It was a pretty good system, just all within Cinema 4D.
There was a lot of time just spent adjusting to how big the files were. Then we started trying to also figure out the final look of everything.
We worked very closely with each of the architectural agencies and structures that were getting created and made sure that we had the most up-to-date CAD files, the most up-to-date illustrations, any information they could possibly give us, we wanted it.
To have a 1,000-person facility, we've never really dealt with that one before. So the first thing that we did was just take those files and start stripping them down and taking out everything that was in there that we didn't need.
Google Maps was great because it allowed us to know where to place everything and the rough scale of everything. So it was able to get all that in there and then scale everything accordingly. We put a lot of detail into a lot of the buildings.
As far as textures, we had some reference images that we were going off of.
And we drew out how we wanted it to look. Andrew kicked out so many previses of little skeletons in kayaks down the middle of the river.
When we got that first previs, it was just wow, we can actually really do this.
We're shooting this portion of the video on blue screen because we're integrating our talent into our CGI world that we've built. So it's just a lot easier to comp them into this world that we've created versus shooting it practically on the river and then having to roto them out. It should be pretty fun.
So part of my role as visual effects supervisor, especially on set, is looking at the shot as a whole and kind of trying to think through what potential problems we're going to run into when we get this footage back into post. So I was working heavily with Colin, who was kind of leading the animation on this project, and he and I were talking back and forth okay, does this lighting match here? Is the sun angle in the right spot of where our virtual sun is going to be? And I was working with Chris as well of, okay, what do you want the framing to be here and how can we make that pair really well with the virtual camera move?
We did a lot of little tricks, for example, in the beginning of the video when that light races past them and you see their skin kind of glow pink. We had this light rig that we built that was on a rope that was remote controlled. It's an old cable cam that just went right through the middle of them.
We had all the moves and everything that we had in cinema, but then we also had the moves that we had of the kayakers that had to be in that scene. So we had to track the camera, stitch that in with the moves that we had and figure out where the kayakers were in the river in space.
It was so fun to watch our team work really closely together. They literally sit right next to each other, and it was fun watching them turn around, okay, cool. And, they were talking all the time.
In constant communication with each other, working together, each kind of handing off to-dos to each other.
Working with Chris, I feel like he's really good at having a vision, but then knowing that we're the ones that are ultimately in the project and kind of trying to figure everything out. And so I feel like he gives us enough room to figure out what works.
For myself in the stadium, I think Chris was pretty good at, for example, that unroll where he didn't criticize it. He had maybe some tweaks, but kind of allowed me to try things out.
I love that there's little, tidbits in there that are just really neat. And I also really like the carousel horses. It's a really fun idea that they're in the water and that's very unique to Grand Rapids. It was very important to a lot of the experienced Grand Rapids staff that they were accurate, and I love the way that they're represented.
Animation-wise, it was really fun to build everything just popping on with the camera movement. I really enjoy making bouncy animations, so it was fun to be able to use that in this project. The thing that gets me excited the most about this video isn't necessarily any one development, but it's the fact that we're showing these places
colorful and lively with people.
Again, went through a bunch of different changes, different ideas. Do we have realistic looking people? Do we have stylized people? Do we have little circles that represent people that are all different colors and things like that?
Our animation team built individual people rigs that were cheering, cars driving on the highway, fishermen in the river, people walking on the sidewalk. Our team did such a great job bringing all of those to life.
You know, we want to make sure that we show Grand Rapids as the people that live here see it every day. We made the effort to make sure that this production didn't include any use of AI because of that fact, because we want to support real people who live in our community who can create amazing art. Thankfully, Ideology has a team of animators that really works around the clock to make our vision become a reality. I'm not sure AI could truly match the effort that the animators at Ideology put in.
And I think that our culture and Ideology's culture just seem to really blend well together. We like to have fun, but we also can get down to work and get really serious and get the work done and really think big. So it's been a really great partnership.
Working with our team to create this was just such a blast for me.
It was a constant collaboration amongst all teams, and it was really fun to be a part of.
And just kind of cool to see all the little projects that we were working on in real life.
So watch it over and over again. See the heart that went into it. These are artists that put their time and energy into making something that we as Grand Rapidians can be proud of.
It's definitely a special project. It's going to be really exciting to see people experience the video for the first time.
I hope everybody sees all the intent and effort and work that we did to make sure that we're representing Grand Rapids as best as we can be, and I'm excited to hear what people think.